In order to understand this temple, we have to understand Prabhupada's motivations. We know that Prabhupada, he started as a pure devotee coming to this world, never forgot Krishna for one moment of his life. And then when he met his spiritual master, instantly his spiritual master gave his lifetime instruction to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world in the English language. So that was Prabhupada's first and foremost mission. To fulfill the instruction of his spiritual master, he underwent intense austerities to go to the West, to establish Krishna consciousness from 1966, to open temples all over the world. And at one point, Prabhupada felt, now I have done what my spiritual master has asked me to do. That was phase one of our Krishna consciousness movement, ISKCON. Then Prabhupada began phase two. That was, now he had hundreds of disciples all over the world, and he wanted to make a place for his disciples in the holy dhams. He was standing in front of Rukmini Dwarkadish one morning at his world headquarters in Los Angeles. He had installed them, established the new Dwarka temple there, where there were skillions of babies being born and grihastas and so much training going on for the temple presidents and the pujaris coming from all over the world. Prabhupada had just masterminded such a wonderful organization. And while he was standing in front of their lordships, Rukmini Dwarkadish, Dwarkadish said to Prabhupada, now go back to India. And Prabhupada was stunned. He told two devotees this afterwards. He said, but my spiritual master told me to preach in the West. My godbrothers are preaching in India. Dwarkadish told him, no, I want you to go back to India. And Prabhupada objected that, look at this beautiful temple in Los Angeles that has been created. We have so many devotees, I have so much more work to do. And then Dwarkadish made a deal with Prabhupada. He said, if you go back to India, I will give you a temple 100 times better than this Los Angeles temple. Where was that temple? Not just one temple. Krishna gave him 3 temples. Mayapur, Vrindavan, Bombay. Also Hyderabad, let's say 4 temples in his lifetime. So Prabhupada made an announcement to the devotees, completely out of the blue. I'm leaving. 1970, August. Prabhupada, how can you leave? He just got on a plane and left. And he went to Japan. And then he called his devotees, you come with me. I'm going to Calcutta. He took some of his foremost preachers to Calcutta. Already a few devotees were here in India. From when Prabhupada had come in 1967, some devotees who just couldn't bear the separation from Prabhupada, they came to India. 1967, now it was 1970. They had stayed here, like Achyut Nanda, Jaipataka. They weren't sannyasis at that time yet. So when Prabhupada came to Calcutta, he started. First, get the land in Mayapur. He sent his devotees there to get the land in Mayapur. Then he was looking towards Vrindavan. We needed land in Vrindavan. So he came here. He started his World Sankirtan party all over India from Bombay. It took him 1 year traveling everywhere. And finally in 1971, Prabhupada brought the devotees here. He sent, before that, Guru Das. Because Guru Das and Jamuna, when they opened up the temple in San Francisco with Shamasundar, Malati, and the other couple, Guru Das and Jamuna expressed a desire to go to Vrindavan at that time. So Prabhupada wrote to he told Guru Das, he wrote to him, and he was still in America, he said, now you come to Vrindavan and you find land or you find a temple that will be donated. I want to start a center there. So Guru Das came here all alone, and he was scouting around. He found the Maharaj of Bharatpur had the Lakshmi Rani Kunj temple on the shore of Jamuna, and he started to negotiate for that. The devotees came in 71, and they inadvertently offended the Maharaj. Maharaj had sent a silver Singhasan for Radha and Krishna, and one devotee, thinking that Maharaj wanted the devotees to pay for it, sent it back and refused it. So Maharaj of Bharatpur at that time closed down the whole negotiations. He wouldn't have anything to do with giving his palace to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was at square one again. And he knew a few, from when he lived here, he knew some devotees, he knew some Goswamis. He was canvassing, is there anyone who would like to donate? So Prabhupada, he was staying at the Radha Damodar temple in 1972, and next to Radha Damodar temple is Govindabag, and that's where all the wealthy Marwaris and the also Goswamis stay. They have their homes there. So he was just speaking to, as he spoke to everyone, that I'm looking for land, I'm looking for a temple if anyone wants to donate. And one Mr. Kashi Prasad Sharaf, he said, well, we have some land, maybe you would be interested, but it's outside of the town. It's in Ramanreti, very far away. This was the jungle at that time, where all the Gundas lived. So Prabhupada said, oh, I'm very interested, can you take me there? Immediately, Kashi Prasad Sharaf brought him here, showed him the land. Prabhupada said, this is perfect. Will you donate it or should I purchase it? And Kashi Prasad Sharaf, being a very shrewd and intelligent devotee and Marwari, he said, well, it's not in my name, it's in my wife's name. And she's in Guwahati. She'll be coming in March. So Prabhupada waited. His wife came, Gita Devi Saraf. She'll be coming here today also. She's now 87 years old. At 10 o'clock she'll be coming. We try to bring her every year for this day. Such a wonderful Vaishnavi. She lived here since she was 14, 15 years old, had 24-hour kirtan in her house for 40 years. And she said, yes, I will give this land to Srila Prabhupada. So then Prabhupada started the negotiations. But Gita Devi Saraf didn't realize that there were other people who had been eyeing her land. For instance, our neighbor, Shamama. Shamama had also gone to America, England, and had connection with the devotees. And Prabhupada warned them, you be careful. This is not a sampradaya that we follow. It was a bit sahajiya. She taught them how to dance in circles and different things like that. So she wanted this land. And there was another sadhu who got very angry at Gita Devi Saraf that you said I would have this land. So Gita Devi Saraf was put into turmoil that I don't want to offend the Vaishnavas here. So Prabhupada he thought that the deal was made and everything was going along. Suddenly, Kiradakshay Vishnu, who had come from England to assist Prabhupada to set up the Hindi Bhagavad Darshan publication, he wrote to Prabhupada that Gita Devi Saraf, she's changed her mind. I don't know what to do. So Prabhupada, as his emissary, sent Kiradakshay Vishnu to her to make a proper deal. What's going to happen? So Gita Devi Saraf, her worshipable deities in her home are Sri Sri Radha Kunja Bihari. The 40th anniversary, we brought them in a huge procession here and kept them on the altar for that day of Ram Navami. Now she's living under the care of some disciples of Radha Govinda Das Goswami and being taken care of very nicely. So she went to her lordships, Radha Kunj Bihari, and asked them what to do. And they gave her a solution. She said, I'm going to give 2 pieces of paper. On one piece of paper will say nahi. On another piece of paper will say huh. I'm going to fold them up and put them at the feet of Kunj Bihari. And you, Kirdakshay Vishnu, you will pick one piece of paper. And whatever Kunj Bihari has decided, that's what I will do. So Kirdakshay Vishnu prayed to Prabhupada. He picked a piece of paper. He opened it up. What did it say? Huh. She said, the land is yours. When Prabhupada heard this, he flew right here. He was in Mayapur. He had just done the groundbreaking for the Mayapur temple. As soon as he finished that groundbreaking, he came here to Vrindavan. He wasn't going to let another obstacle come in his way. That day that he arrived, he set up the groundbreaking ceremony here. And in Gita Devi's house, if anyone's ever gone to the Kachahari here in Mathura, that's the law courts, sometimes it takes 20 years to get something done. So Prabhupada was not going to let any more obstacles come in his way. He called the judge, the advocates, the clerks to Gita Devi's house. And he had all of the signing done there. No typewriter. Jamuna Devi, with calligraphy, wrote the deed. And everyone right there in Gita Devi's house signed and sealed the deed. It was done in one evening. That was it. And then, 1972, we had the land only up to here, only up to where the temple is. The first 26 feet, Kashi Prasad Saraf would not give to Prabhupada because he wanted to make a petrol pump there. The Chatikara Road at that time was as big as this chair. It was big enough for one Tanga to come from Chatikara into town. But he, with his Marwari forevision, there were only 2 cars in Vrindavan at that time. He foresaw that sometime in the future, Vrindavan will need a petrol pump. And this is where it's going to be. So he wouldn't give that land. Now, Prabhupada had another vision. We'll fast forward a little bit. 1976, temple was already built. Prabhupada, by that time, had a very loving relationship like a daughter with Gita Devi Saraf. And he called her and he said, how can, this is your Lala, these are your children, Krishna and Balaram. How can you have the entrance of the temple on a little gully on the side here? They deserve a beautiful entrance at the front of the temple. She said, yes, you're right. He said, I want you to sign over that land to me. She said, yes, I'll sign it over immediately. Well, when Kashi Prasad Saraf heard that, he went to court. Yes, that court, judgment was there for 40 years. Within that time, he left his body. Within that time, Srila Prabhupada, he was preparing to take samadhi. It still hadn't been settled. We couldn't build anything on that land. We just had one beautiful fountain there. And the well. So Prabhupada, what did he do? He called the devotees and he said, you make my samadhi there. And you make a big samadhi. No one can move a samadhi. So Srila Prabhupada had his samadhi established on that land. And Kashi Prasad, soon after that, went back to Godhead. And then it was just Gita Devi here. And after so many years, 40 years, it was in court. Finally, we made a settlement with Gita Devi Saraf, And this land then became ISKCON. We were able to complete the construction, and that way the entire land was donated.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.